Picture the greatest football team you have ever seen. Now picture them broke, beaten, and forgotten. It sounds impossible, right? But it has happened to the biggest clubs in the world. The scary truth is simple. The higher a team climbs, the harder they crash. Trophies do not protect you. Fame does not save you. Some of the most feared teams ever built fell apart completely, and many never came back. So what actually kills a giant? Stay with me, because the answer is darker and simpler than you think. Here is the thing most fans get wrong. They think a team falls because the players suddenly get bad. That is almost never true. A football club is like a giant machine. When every part works together, it is beautiful to watch. But one broken piece can drag the whole thing down. And usually, that broken piece is not on the pitch at all. It is money. It is ego. It is a bad boss. It is one wrong choice made in a quiet office. Today we break down how 8 of the biggest clubs on earth lost everything. And by the end, you will spot one hidden pattern that connects them all. Let us begin. AC Milan. In the 2000s, this club ruled Europe with an iron fist. They had legends in every position: Maldini, Pirlo, Kaká, and Shevchenko. They won the Champions League and looked completely unstoppable. But the whole club leaned on one man and his wallet. The owner paid for everything, so as long as he was rich, Milan stayed strong. Then his business hit serious trouble, and the money stopped flowing. Their legends grew old, their legs got slow, and nobody arrived to replace them. Bit by bit, the giant faded away. They went years without even ruling their own country, let alone Europe. Fans could only watch as the red and black shirts lost their fear factor. The lesson is brutal. If one person holds all the money, you are only ever one bad day from disaster. Manchester United. For 26 years, Sir Alex Ferguson ran this club like a king. He built teams, crushed rivals, and controlled every tiny detail. Then, in 2013, he retired and walked away for good. And here is the shocking part. This rich, world-famous club had no real plan for life without him, so they panicked. They hired the wrong managers, one after another after another. They spent huge money on players who simply did not fit. Every new boss wanted a new style, so the team never settled. A club that once won everything became confused, slow, and lost. Fans watched in disbelief as their proud team drifted with no direction, season after painful season. They kept throwing money at the problem, but money cannot fix a plan that does not exist. Even the greatest empire will crumble if nobody prepares for the future. Barcelona. Barcelona is the story that hurts the most. For years, they had Lionel Messi, the greatest player who ever lived. Around him, they built a dream. But behind the curtain, the money was a total mess. The club spent far more than it earned. They handed out giant contracts they could not truly afford. Slowly, the debt grew into a mountain. Then it got so bad, they could not even sign new players. And the cruelest part of all? They lost Messi for free because they could not pay him anymore. The best player in their history walked out the door in tears, and the fans cried with him. It was the price of years of careless spending. Spending money you do not have will always catch up with you in the end. Real Madrid Galacticos. Next, Real Madrid and their famous Galacticos. In the early 2000s, they had a bold idea: buy the biggest superstar on the planet every single summer. Zidane, Ronaldo, Beckham, and Figo. On paper, it looked perfect. But football is not a fantasy game. You cannot win with only attackers. To fund those signings, they kept selling their hard workers and tough defenders. Nobody was left to do the dirty jobs that win matches. So this dazzling team went years without lifting the biggest trophies. Too many stars, and not enough balance. A team is not just a list of famous names on a poster. It is a group of players who fit together and cover for each other. Talent alone does not win football. Teamwork does. Leeds United. Now here is the saddest fall of all. Leeds United. In the year 2000, they stood at the top of Europe, young, fast, fearless, and full of hope. So the owners made one giant risky bet. They borrowed a massive pile of money on a single promise. Keep winning, keep reaching Europe, and the money will come flooding back. Then, the unthinkable happened. They failed to qualify for the Champions League. The money never arrived, and the debt crushed them. They sold every good player just to survive and tumbled down the divisions, one heartbreaking relegation at a time, from the top of Europe to the third tier in just a few years. Betting your entire future on one single result can destroy everything you built. Parma. Look at Italy again, this time at Parma. In the 1990s, this small club became a superpower. They bought world-class stars like Buffon, Cannavaro, and Crespo. They beat the biggest teams in the land and won shiny European trophies. But it was all built on borrowed strength and borrowed time. The company that funded them was hiding a huge financial lie. When that funding company collapsed, Parma collapsed with it. The club had no money of its own. They went bankrupt and dropped all the way to the very bottom of Italian football. A club that once beat the best in Europe now played in front of tiny crowds. False money builds a false giant, and false giants always fall. Kaiserslautern. Now cross to Germany and meet Kaiserslautern. This club once did the impossible. They won promotion, then won the league title the very next season. It was one of the greatest stories in football. But success made them dream too big, too fast. They spent heavily on a new stadium and expensive players, hoping the glory would pay for it. It did not. The debt piled up higher and higher. Slowly, they sank down the leagues, drowning in money problems they could never escape. The dream turned into a nightmare. One magic season is not a plan for the future. Blackburn Rovers. Then there is Blackburn Rovers. In 1995, a rich local owner poured his fortune into this club. They bought the best strikers and shocked everyone by winning the Premier League. It was a fairy tale. But the whole thing stood on one man's money and one man's dream. When he stepped back, the spending stopped. Without that endless cash, the team slowly weakened year by year. Later owners made poor choices and sold the best players, and the club slid down and down. They even dropped into the third division. A title bought by one wallet does not last once the wallet finally closes. Nottingham Forest. This club once won the biggest prize in Europe, not once, but twice, back to back. They were a tiny, unfashionable club, yet somehow they conquered the whole continent of Europe. But it was built around one brilliant manager and a special group of players. When that magic faded, nothing solid was left behind. Bad decisions and money troubles followed. This former champion of Europe fell all the way into the lower leagues, forgotten by many. Their fans held on to old memories, while the club fought just to survive. Glory does not last if you do not build something strong and lasting to hold it up. Now step back and look at all 8 together. Different countries, different decades, different stars, but the exact same disease. Every one of them believed success would last forever. That belief was the poison. They got comfortable. They stopped planning for tomorrow. They spent too much, prepared too little, and trusted the wrong people. Ego made them blind to the danger. Money made them careless. And a total lack of a real plan left them completely helpless when trouble finally came knocking on the door. That is the real secret in football. Great teams almost never die on the pitch. They die quietly in the boardroom, long before the bad results ever show up on the scoreboard. The rot starts at the top, in the decisions nobody sees. That is why staying on top is far harder than getting there. So think about your own club. Are they building for the future, or just enjoying today? Which downfall hurt you the most, and which giant do you think is falling right now? Drop your answer in the comments, hit subscribe, and see you next time.